Right. And I'll count to 10 slowly. And
I'll get Facebook up.
Yeah. David McGuinness is live now. And I'll count to 10 slowly. There we go.
Right, yeah, you get Facebook up. Save me a problem.
Yeah, I've got it. McGuinness is live now. Right, okay. There we are. Right, fine. No comments yet. We've got Laurie Dunlop. Hi, Laurie.
Right, we've got Art Office, Alistair Kilpatrick, Stephen Nichol, Ali Watson, Christopher Coyle, Christine Coyle. Hi, Christine. Christine Coyle.
Karen Douglas.
Ginger Giraffes is back. Hi, Gingers. Hi, Ruth.
Mags McLachlan. Linda Ellard. Stuart Crockett. Sandra Rutherford. These
Hi,
all
Sandra.
on Facebook. James Coyle. Laurie Dunlop. Nancy McIver.
Right, we've got Paul Rankin, Art Office, Ian Matheson,
Lynn Robertson.
Henderson, Mark Roundtree. Who else? We've got Paul Rankin. We've got John the Van Driving Legend, still a driving god. Hi, John in Turkey. He's on holiday, looks here.
Paul Fulton.
Hi, Lorraine, Stephen, William, Pat.
Bob Robertson. Stephen Kelly.
We've got a heathen adventurer today.
Stephen McNeil. This is I'm doing Facebook and he's doing YouTube.
Sandy, Brian, Eddie. Hi, Eddie. Hi, Kirsty.
Hi, Doug. Hi, Mr. Copley. Mitchell, Sarah Granger. Mitchell. It is Mitchell. It's not Michael. It's Mitchell, Sarah Granger.
Hi, Robert. Hi, Christina. Hi, Nathan. Hi, Margaret. Right. How are we doing? Hi. Numbers are climbing fine. So let's get a show on the radio.
Andrew Kelly. Okay, guys. Right. That's champion. That'll do us.
Aye, we're up at 86. So that's a starting figure. So anyway, good afternoon, folks. Good afternoon, David.
Good afternoon, David.
Got a lot to get through the day, but by Christ, it's been a week and a bit, is it no? With the two absolutely outrageous right-wing conferences being held down that road by the Conservatives, one by the Yanks, and the Republican Party coming out here to push their fish, and the other one for what's called the Christian National Conservative Conference. Wow, some of the right-wing shite coming out of these conferences.
Well, you have to understand, if there's going to be a conference that Rees-Mogg would attend, it would be that one, wouldn't it?
Okay.
You know, the haunted pencil.
All these Christians all gathering, all these conservative Christians gathering to tell us that they're right and everybody else should be fake and poor. So much for Christianity.
That's something that I meant to actually mention at the time of the coronation. They were asking for you to pledge an oath, right? And it was one of my members in Scotland now, Dave Cowell, who's always was a very, very angry man, but he put up this great post about the fact that if you believe in the Christian Bible and all the rest of it, right, you're not allowed to give an oath. You can say aye or no to something, but that's it. You're not allowed to pledge an oath. Not allowed to. There you go. I wonder what Mr. Mogg would say about that.
I wouldn't know. I'm not a Christian. Anyway, let's get underway. We want to talk about Mr. Mogg straight off the bat. Hey, Jacob Rees-Mogg mixed Tory.
Yeah, boy. All right,
anyway, you let me go on with this or what? It's going to be one of these ones, isn't it? Right, anyway, Jacob Rees-Mogg admits Tories attempted to subvert democracy with voter ID scheme at the Christian Nationalist Conservative Conference. Now, he went on to say that the Tories' attempt to gerrymander the vote had backfired because pensioners didn't have the required identification to vote. And as we know, the elder population votes Tory en masse in England. Right. So what he's saying is they cut their own voters off with this voter ID. What they were actually trying to do, as we all know, was to cut out young voters who were more likely to vote Labour. But it would appear the young voters were a wee bit more savvy, went and got their bloody ID and had their votes. It was the older voters who were watching mainstream media and listening and reading the Daily Mail who hadn't went out and got their ID. So according to Mogg, one of the reasons why they got voted beaten profoundly in the local election in England was their attempt to gerrymander the vote. Now, I've been told that he has been reported to the police for that statement because he was a minister in the cabinet when that bill was going through. So it would appear that the intention of the government at the time was to subvert democracy. Yeah,
it's not. To try and put that one roundly in its place, it is not against the law to change the system of voting in a country. It is, however, against the law to actually change the number of people that are allowed to vote.
Right, hold on, we better get this right, because class action is correct. It's not gerrymandering, it's voter suppression. You're right, class action. I believe the gerrymandering was in the boundary changes.
Yeah, that's right.
So there is definitely a definition there. It is voter, and class action is correct. Thanks for correcting this, class action. It is a voter suppression. The gerrymandering was in the moving of the boundaries. But anyway, according to Moggy, he admits that the Tory government, which he was part of, attempted to suppress the vote and suppress democracy and perverse democracy, or a corrupt democracy, if you like, in their favour, and that it backfired. Now, if the police are not going to investigate that, then there is a problem. Because that is a government minister of the time admitting that a bill was introduced to subvert democracy. And that's about as serious as it gets. But, David, this brings us on to item number 2, which links in great with item number 1, was the Tories, in order to cover their backs, got gammon news channels and the print press to try and come away with Starmer intended to rig the election, the next election, by giving EU citizens with permanent residency the right to vote in UK elections.
But as far as I'm concerned, if they've got permanent residency in the United Kingdom, they have a perfect right to vote, surely. You would think.
That's the argument, but what we do know is this is one of the pledges that Starmer's went back on because he kicked it into the long grass.
No, he did.
He said there has been work taking place on it, but he's kicked it into the long grass. So it will certainly not be in place. It couldn't be in place for the next election anyway because there's no government.
Yeah.
And so this claim by the Conservatives to deflect from what Rees-Mogg said, that Starmer planned to do something similar by giving the vote to permanent residents in the UK from the EU, of course is rubbish. Because Starmer's not in government, and as we know, he's already kicked into the long grass, probably never to come out.
Along with a lot of other things.
Aye, along with umpteen pledges. In fact, if any of you are like YouTube and you follow stuff on YouTube, if you want to know what sort of liar that Starmer is, what sort of dishonest man he is, what sort of power-hungry Tory he is, then Owen Jones or Damo Rants on YouTube.
Or what about going on to Al Jazeera and watching the documentary about the Labour lies?
Aye, or Navarra Media. Navarra Media are getting battered right into Starmer at the moment and all. And these are all left-wing commentators, folks.
Yeah.
No. So if you want to know what sort of lying, deceiving, power-hungry piece of Tory crap that Starmer is, then Damo Rants, Owen Jones, Navarra Media. full of different bias, seems to be in denial. He's saying it's all just election ploying by Starmer, they revert to being a left winger. And I heard that. And the boy at Truth to Power seems to be in a bit in doubt about Starmer as well, but they seem to be in denial that he is just a power-hungry, lying Tory git.
Yeah.
You know, simple as that. So that was the vote rigging fiasco this week. One could see the Tories in big trouble if the police take up an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one was made up and tried crap to take the limelight off Mogg, who admitted that he, as a government minister, along with the rest of the cabinet, attempted to subvert democracy here in the UK. So that's going to be one worth watching, David. Right. Now, when it comes to right-wing nut jobs, who else would pop up at these conferences at the weekend and into Monday and Tuesday but Suella Braverman?
No. She's called Cruella. She's changed her name by deed poll. She's now Cruella.
Aye. Anyway, she, of course, is making a bid for number 10 by swinging further and further to the right. And she promises to cut down on immigration. In fact, she promises to close off immigration. And migration, by the way, because they're worried about the brain drain.
I've been thinking about this. How far to the right can you actually go? Do you end up looking like the evil master out of Flash Gordon, the movie? Where you end up with a death ray pointing at the planet Earth? Is that what it is? Is that where you get?
It's very hard to know how far right they can go, but at this point in time, they're not kicking the ass off the Nazi party.
Isn't he called Mong? Evil Mong?
Aye, Emperor Mong. Aye, something like that.
But you look at that and you go, could it have been Mog? And maybe everybody got it wrong. It was Evil Mog, and it's like we're going to have Jacob Rees-Mogg and Cruella Braverman being the new Don.
Well, anyway, she's making a bid to take out Sunak when he loses this next election. And she's promising to close off migration.
Yes.
Plenty of garments. You know, she's talking to an audience of Christian white supremacists.
Yeah.
And in London. And she's promising them a good red meat for the garments. And at the same time making a pitch. In the same time making a pitch for the Labour leadership. The Conservative leadership. It doesn't matter what one is saying to Labour, Tory. They're the bloody same thing.
Yeah. On the preamble, you did come up with a rather a good phrase, which I put in inverted commas, was prison UK.
Yes.
Where Suella Braverman is effectively going to make GB where there's nobody coming in and nobody going out.
That's the interesting bit, the nobody going out, because the brain drain's on. We know that. Young, gifted executives right now are fleeing the UK.
Do you know why? Can I tell the people that are watching, they might not know where this phrase brain drain came from. Back in the days of Harold Wilson, the super tax was set at 19 shillings and sixpence in the pound. And what happened was all your people that were in that effectively ended up owning 6 pence out of every pound that they made. They just got on an airplane headed for America or wherever to get away from it, and it got called the brain drain.
Aye.
And we effectively have got that now. The problem with it is effectively it takes the heart out of the entrepreneurialism within the country. And believe it or not, you might not like them, but we do need entrepreneurs to actually generate new businesses and keep the thing going, keep the ball rolling.
That's the market economy. You've got to feed the market.
That's right.
And that's where we get the problem with the Bank of England's policy at the moment of taking finance out the market.
Yeah. Because
that means the market shrinks.
Yes. Yeah.
That's just simple fact.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff. But the brain drain. It also affected cities within the UK because as all the brains fled, then the half-brains all headed for London. And that's why we've got all these idiots in Parliament. You know, all the real people went abroad, settled down, brought their families up elsewhere, ended up with the inbreds back in charge here.
Yeah.
What we used to call in the 70s the meritocracy has disappeared to be replaced by a what's it called? A kleptocracy.
A kleptocracy, yeah. A meritocracy is where somebody has got the actual skill, the knowledge, the foresight to actually do something, and everybody else, doesn't matter what you call them, are just half-breeds. You know what I mean? They don't have the ability to actually produce the big companies with the marvellous ideas and all the rest of
it. Now, as I say, but Braverman, to get back to your point, you know, it really is taking the biscuit. But they know that there's a brain drain on, so they're going to try and stop that as well.
Yeah, but still front and centre as regards Cruella, Braverman, as I'll call her, is all about prison ships and the way they're treating people that basically just asylum seekers, and they're just not getting processed.
Which goes back to what we were talking about the preamble and all, David. We were talking about the Gammon TV stations going out there looking for asylum seekers who are working in the black market. Well, that's what happens when you give people £40 a week to live happy. They go out and try to earn a bloody living.
That's right. Can you blame them?
The Gammon News is portraying these people as some sort of master criminals.
And at the same time, well, let's just bring this one forward as we're doing it. At the same time, it was GB News that did that. And they went out and they did investigative journalism. And they actually caught 3 wee men working at a fucking car wash, earning an extra maybe 10 or 20 quid a day. Instead of doing what a good broadcaster should do, is going and investigating people like Sunak, you name them, Rees-Mogg, the whole front line of that blooming Tory fascist blooming government should be blooming investigating every one of them about the fraud and the billions of pounds that they have removed from your pockets.
It's not a case of they took it out our pockets, they put it on our children in the form of fucking debt.
Right, absolutely.
You know,
anyway. Gammon TV. Gammon fucking TV.
So, you know, that's Braverman. She intends to stop the brain drain as well.
Oh, you're frozen up, Davey. No, it's worse than that. I'm on my own. Oh, dear. The next bit was Davies, and it was the UK considers bidding no-fault eviction. And I'll wait until he comes back and does that one properly. He'll probably come in. He'll be on that side of me. All right.
Right, we're back, David. Sorry about that. I seem to get kicked out. I guess I better.
No, you could see that the throughput of data, your image was getting a bit fuzzy before you went off. It still is.
I don't get it because I've got the a full signal up, David. I had a full signal up when it dropped off, and it came up and it said, "Oops, something went wrong." Thanks, Christina. That's very generous of you.
Yes, thanks, Christina. Right. Well, the next one we were going to do was UK considers bidding no-fault eviction. I was going to leave you to lead on that one, so please carry on.
Oh no, Dave. Obviously, I missed what you said on it, but obviously it's based on what's happening in Southern Ireland at the moment, where they're not far away from civil war. This one, people are getting put out in the street as people sell up for vast amount of money. Right now, you couldn't get a 1-bedroom cottage in Southern Ireland for any less than £250,000 apparently.
Yeah.
You know, so they're trying to avoid that sort of thing. Now, the idea is, and the way it'll be laid out is, if you're not an antisocial nuisance, if you're not behind in your rent, then you shouldn't be evicted. And of course, there'll be clauses put in to protect those who are selling up. Yeah. But the way interest rates are going at the moment, people are trying to sell up.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we heard one lady on talking about it. She owned a flat that she rented out, And she said, I was put in a position where I had no choice. I liked the people that were in the flat, but I had no choice but to sell the flat. And nobody was prepared to take the flat as a going concern, as a rental property. You know, so the people that she sold it to wanted to actually move their family in. That means that she had to evict her tenants, something like that, you know.
The way interest rates are going now, if you've taken out mortgages on a rental property, if you can't raise the rents, or the people in there can't afford the raised rents, then you're in a soapy bubble. You've got to sell, or you've got to try and sell.
That's right. This is maybe the interesting thing. It's that a lot of people look at the Bank of England and raising interest rates as being, well, that only affects people that own their own houses, right? Well, yeah, it does, if they don't have a fixed mortgage, that is. But more than likely, it's people that have got a mortgage and where they just pay interest only to pay for a flat to rent out.
Aye.
And as that goes up and up and up, they find that they can't continue that. They're paying out of pocket to keep somebody in a house. And they have to go.
Banning no fault evictions isn't a bad idea. It means that, you know, it is, but it's meaningless because you ban no fault evictions. The guy that owns the flat then goes, okay, then I can't evict these people. I'm selling up.
Yeah.
I've got, and then there'll be a notice period. You've got to get them to move on, as you know.
Yeah.
And that's how it'll be done. And a lot of people will make a loss on these properties they've taken out for a rental income.
Yeah.
A lot of these people who own these rental properties are pensioners who are trying to make an income out of it.
David, we've discussed this in the past. You know my feeling on it. I want everything taken under a central government, as it were, right? Where, in actual fact, we end up,
Thanks, Eddie.
in your words, where you've got mobility, social mobility, right?
Yeah. And
the only way you get that is if everybody goes back to renting the property.
Yes,
and it doesn't make any difference to me. I mean, I've got a mortgage on a house there. That mortgage will run out in, maybe another 5 years or something like that, right? Doesn't make any difference whether I'm renting it or whatever. At the end of the 5 years, hopefully, if I keep going, then the house will be mine. But I'll end up just passing it on to one of the wings, or a couple of the wings. So really, there is no benefit to owning your own property. I would say get everything, all property back to being run centrally. And it means then we've got the social mobility. As you say, David, if somebody takes a job that's maybe at another part of the city, they can actually move there easily.
Phil's asking, hold on, David, let me think. Phil's asking about the bank account. We'll finish the paperwork today. It's Virgin that are dragging their heels, Phil. I promise you it is. It's no us. I've only just had the email in the day.
Yeah, Phil, do you know something? Every day we've gone off, yours has been the very, very last comment that's come up, and your bank account, ? And it's like we forgot to mention it, so thank you for coming on earlier to mention it so we can say something. The bank did eventually get the hold of James Bond, so he could actually pass us the 128-bit encryption code to open the file, so that we can actually answer the questions.
And sign the forms.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be done and dusted by next week, but I don't know how that's going to help you, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to just transfer money into that bank account, because the bank account is free, providing we only do 10 transactions a month.
But they are still going to be able to do it, David, because the amount they charge for any additional transactions is tiny.
They haven't used that yet. We're still waiting on them.
Actually, I've looked at it, David, and it is tiny. It's about 50 pence a transaction.
If that's the case, then okay, fine. That means that if you're putting in a donation of £5, you've actually put in a donation of £4.50.
Which is better than what's happening with YouTube.
That's right.
YouTube opened it up to more people.
YouTube, I've got to say, taking 30% of donations coming in is, in your case, because we're giving it to food banks, is ridiculous. I've actually written to them on that. I've told them they're being ridiculous. So anyway, right, come on in. Let's push on.
Aye.
So we've done the no fault eviction. What about?
Well, they're not covering enough of Scottish politics, David. That's because there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
And we'll go a couple of Scottish politics things a wee bit later, innit? But when something of any substance happens in Holyrood, then we'll report on it.
Yeah.
You know, the crap that's bounding about a sewage getting into Scottish water and things like that. We're talking about overflow. We're not talking about deliberate discharge. We're talking about in England. And most of the stuff's about low emission zones coming into play and things like that. Well, that's all in the papers, folks. And the domination of Scottish politics right now by the BBC and the Unionist press means that actually don't want to sit here and tell you bad news stories every day unless it's about somewhere else.
Well, let's talk about the guy that said, no, I wasn't put under any political angst over having to employ this particular Public Order Act 2023.
No, we'll get to that, David.
That's next item on the list, David.
Aye, that's next on the list. Home Affairs Committee takes evidence in Coronation arrests.
Yeah.
And Assistant Commissioner, Matt Twist, of the Met Police says there was no political pressure on them to behave the way they behaved. And the guy who led operations that day, Chief Constable Chris Noble, he tells the committee that he was acting in the interest of health and of safety and good conduct. You know?
And everybody here says, aye, right. I can actually hear the word coming from the Home Office, and it's like Cruella shouting down the phone, listen, you make sure this goes dead sweet and arrest everybody you can using this Public Order Act 2023 or your head will roll. Right? That's it. Basically, that's it. Ridiculous. The fact of the matter is, because of their position in the police and the Met, they had to lie. Simple as that.
Obviously, the protesters who were there to give evidence, one of them was a lawyer, and he was horrified of what happened to him.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was the people who worked as volunteers with the Westminster Council and the Met Police being arrested for rape alarms. Just silliness.
Yeah.
But it was quite quick getting in front of the Public Affairs Committee. So you think they're going to have to come out with some guidance for police here?
Yeah. Well, you actually saw it on some of the footage where arrests were taking place, and what the people who were getting arrested were doing was they were recording the police actually arresting them, right? And you could see in the face of the policemen was they weren't very sure of what they were doing, and they were constantly, the policemen were looking to their bosses and saying, "Is this right?" You know, whatever was being said, and it's ridiculous. This is it's a fascist government. It's become a fascist. England has become a fascist country. You know, the people don't realise that. That they're living in what looks like the 1930s Germany, and it's ridiculous. And in 1930s Germany, you had as many clever people about as you do now. There was clever people.
Junie Kay has come up with a good point, and that's pre-crime is now a thing. Welcome to the Minority Report. And it is a thing now. I mean, in the Public Order Act, they've introduced thought crime.
Yeah.
You know, you thought about it. Crime, mental. So, it's being in front of the Public Affairs Committee. You think it'll make any difference? You see anybody getting wrapped in the knuckles over this?
What I do see is that how do you move on from this? You don't, because if Labour get in, are they going to change anything?
No, he's saying he's not going to change it. He's going to let it bed in and maybe put some guidance in for police.
Well, effectively, what you're talking about then is where the people of England rise up, and there is a massive reset, and that's the only way it can happen. That's it.
Aye. In fact, they're keen on taking back control, so why don't you just take back control of England, and that'll give them the reset they need.
Yeah.
And that way Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland can go on with their own business.
That's right.
Instead of having to deal with these people, you and I having to talk about them.
Yeah.
We maybe get something of more substance coming out of your Parliament.
Exactly.
Right, let's move on to number 6. The Northern Ireland elections are today, David.
Yeah. I mean, they're actually running now as we speak.
The elections are running now.
I would imagine the ballot station, the polling stations will be open till 10 p.m. tonight. So there's really not a tremendous amount we can say, but you got a bit of a communication from our reporter over there, Fiona Robertson, didn't you?
Yes, I did. It was interesting because she was talking to her MP today who was campaigning for his party.
Yeah.
Which just happens to be Sinn Féin.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think Fiona's a Shinner, but
No.
she might well be. I don't know. Fiona's an intelligent woman, as you know. She'll vote with her own policy. She'll not vote on party.
Yeah.
Which is how we should all do it, of course.
Yeah.
You know, we should all read the manifesto and decide which suits us best.
Incidentally, by the way, Fiona Robertson, you might not have heard the name. She's been with David and Barcelona, myself, if you like, keeping contact with us right back as far as 2012. Is that right?
Oh, easy, nice, easy.
Yeah.
And Fiona keeps me abreast of what's going on in Northern Ireland if anything important comes up, because obviously Fiona's in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Or if I've got a question about Northern Ireland, I can phone Fiona. Yeah,
it's good. You can imagine we ask questions like, okay, Fiona, why won't the people of Northern Ireland just immediately go, well, it's better just if we have a border poll and join up with Southern Ireland, right? And it was Fiona that came up with the thing, well, it's the doctors. A lot of people are looking at it and going, well, if you've got to pay to go to the doctors in Southern Ireland, we don't want that.
Well, if you have a look at the relative wealth of the people in the north and the south, the people in the south are something like 42% better off.
That's right. It's like when people say here, oh, I'm not coming to Scotland, you pay more taxes in Scotland. Well, no, but in actual fact, you get an awful lot free in Scotland. Free prescriptions, free university tuition, free this, free that, free bridge tolls, and all the rest of it, right? So
free travel for the 12 to 23-year-olds, all that sort of thing.
So therefore, you aren't getting taxed, you're actually getting taxed less. It's being given back to you at point of use. So therefore, it's the same for the people in Northern Ireland. If they realise that if they join up with the South, that they will in actual fact, they'll gain enough money so that isn't a consideration.
No, and Ginny just come up with a cracker there. You can join the queue not to see a doctor for free in Northern Ireland. There's stresses in all the NHSs across the UK, let's be fair.
Yes.
But Northern Ireland not having an administration and Stormont, that doesn't help.
Yeah.
I'll be watching the Belfast outcome with interest. And the other thing was the DUP, the TUV, I think the UPP, they're all running on an anti-protocol, Tory Windsor agreement or whatever it is called now, platform. So I wonder how well that will be doing, seeing the protocols are generally seen as a good thing in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Oh, will Sinn Féin become the big winner that Miss O'Neill or Mary Lou McDonald's believe they're going to be?
But because of the setup in Northern Ireland, the DUP just has to walk away and go, it's our ball, we're going home. Yeah?
I know that class action is telling us how it works in Southern Ireland. It's a minimal charge for seeing your doctor, then your insurance kicks in. I get that. Yeah. But as I say, the election in Northern Ireland will be very, very interesting. I'm going to sit up and watch the results coming in the night, actually. Yeah,
but the thing is, though, as I said, are you going to see anything different? Is there going to be something different that happens?
Could well be a swing away to some of the more neutral parties and to Sinn Féin. But I mean, Fiona can put in the comments what she predicts, if Fiona's watching.
Sorry about that, guys. Just an Amazon driver trying to drop off a parcel from my back door.
Right, let's move on to number 7. We get back to Scottish politics, right? Because this is getting ridiculous.
Hang on a second. I'm just going to do something. Is it bedtime yet? Hang on.
Police investigation into SNP finance descends into farce.
Yeah.
The latest thing to look into is the party's Amazon account. So they went through everything, found nothing so far, so now they're on the Amazon account.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So the SNP's got an Amazon account. Well, if you're buying stationery, it's as cheap as anywhere else.
Yeah.
If you're buying equipment for your office, like the headquarters, it's as cheap as anywhere else.
Name it, it's like these are all the things. Also, there's a lot to be said about having an easy place to get anything you want. You can spend a lot of time online trying to search for a particular thing. Finding it quickly actually saves money.
Aye.
No, but this is just more of the shite, more of the British establishment shite, trying to kick up a stink regarding the SNP.
But that gets back to that takes us back to Fiona. I never really finished what it was Fiona was telling me, in a message earlier. She said she was talking to. Oh, I did see she was talking to her MP, who's a Sinn Féiner, and he was saying that they had their offices raided and storming, and the same sort of thing that they went through that and all, and it was just a witch hunt on the run up to an election.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, this investigation really has 2 years in, and it's descended into that much of a farce. We're now on the Amazon account.
Is it possible that the situation with Trump is giving these bastards an idea?
I have no idea.
No, but you know what Trump's effectively saying. He said all this stuff about me, to blacken my name and take me out the running, right? Is it possible that this has actually been picked up? They went, oh, that's a good idea. What we'll do is we'll blacken the name of whoever across Northern Ireland. And
whoever in Scotland. Smell here in Scotland to make the SNP out to be corrupt. So they started off with Sean Clerkin's complaint. Couldn't they find anything? They hadn't broke any electoral laws and how they spent their money or how they'd used the money, right? They then moved on to look at historical donations via wills. Yeah. And now, and don't forget the clicky pens.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget the clicky pens. And then now they're looking at the Amazon account, where the clicky pens were probably bought. David, it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah. No.
It is getting ridiculous.
But here's the thing. It's like, well, yet again, this was a wee bit of a chat between us this morning, right? It's not a case of they're going to come out and go, all right, okay, fair enough. It's like we haven't found it. No, they're going to have to be forced to make the admission that there's nothing wrong.
Nathan will get to Cole Hamilton. I can assure you we'll get to Cole Hamilton. We'll miss him.
His blooming buttonhole is marked, I can assure you. But the authorities in Scotland who are pushing this, this witch hunt over the SNP, they're going to have to be forced to admit that there's nothing wrong. We're going to have to make them. And the only way we can make them is through a freedom of information request. If you don't know how to do it, learn. You're Scottish, you know how to learn. All right?
You've got a couple in this one, haven't you?
What's that?
You've got a couple of freedom of information requests in this one.
Yes.
You want to know who authorised the cops to do this piss to start with.
Yeah, that's right. I want to know the name of the commander that actually gave the order.
Aye, for that farce outside Nicholas' house.
That's right.
And you're right, Warren, we shouldn't forget the confiscating tea bags and biscuits. Oh dear. So, as I say, the police
Yeah. You ever
investigation.
get picked up with the police, right? Understand this. If they offer you a cup of tea, just say, no, I'm a coffee drinker.
Or ask if it's the SNP's tea bags, and should that not be an evidence? Oh, okay. Hey, absolutely. As I say, it's descended into farce, David.
Yeah.
And even the lunatics are starting to look at it and saying, what's going on here?
Yeah. It actually is pretty basic. If you look at it and you start looking at what's going on, what's being done, you go, that's not right. It doesn't.
And then you've seen the torch getting taken into the SNP offices, but never seen anything coming out of Edinburgh. And then you've seen, and I have been trying to find out for Edinburgh if anything was actually taken. And then you see them doing Mr. Beattie's house, and they, I mean, they took the secretaries. How's she going to cut her roses?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is how farcical it is. They get to Colin Beattie's house and take the food out the larder, for Christ's sake.
And they took his tea bags anyway.
And I bet the coffee was on the other side. I wonder if, they took the milk as well. We could see the milk in the door. Poor wee woman, Mrs. Beattie, sitting there. What am I going to do for a cup of tea? I mean, this is pure comedy gold in a farce. Right, let's move on before we just spend the next half an hour ripping the fish out of this one.
Well, we can't. Come on, let's spend the next half hour doing that because it's needed. Do you understand? In order to blooming stop this nonsense, it needs for everybody to call it what it is: nonsense.
It does. Now we'll get next one. Neo-Nazis to hold rally in Elgin in June under the guise of Scottish nationalism.
Yeah.
Hey. Well, I'll see if I can find the poster and put it up for folk.
Oh no! Actually, have you got the Daily Record?
I'll get the poster up first, then I'll get the Daily Record.
The article actually shows the guy, and he's an absolute ringer for blooming Hitler. He's got the moustache. I'm going to have to get my hair cut because it's starting to take on that angle. You know what I mean? It's like.
Right, hold on, I'll share this because this one is absolutely horrifying, David.
Yeah.
Where are we? Facebook. Here we go. Get a grip of this one. Calling all patriots and nationalists to protest in Elgin. Featured speech by Alec Yerbury. This is a guy that thinks he's Hitler. Noon at Town Square, 17th of June. Enough is enough. No more migrant hotels. Start putting the Scottish people first. No more government betrayals. The Scottish nation belongs to the Scottish people. And this is being hosted by a right-wing group called the Highland Division. Right, we'll stick that down, and then we'll stick up the article on these bangers. So I'll shut that down.
Now, the one thing I'm going to say is, right, don't any of you think of turning up at this blooming square, because what they'll do is, if you turn up, they'll count you as one of the number that supports them. That's how these people work. Okay?
Right, here we go. Fascist who styles himself on Adolf Hitler forged link with Scottish right wing. Here we go. Let's get this one up, David. This one's a doozy. This one's an absolute doozy. So let's kill that one. Shut that one down. Bring this one up. Because this is a doozy. It really is.
Enough fascists without adding to the blooming number.
Share. Here we go. Right, fascist who styles himself on Adolf Hitler forges link with leader of Scots neo-Nazi group. Alec Ubery sports a clipped moustache and waxed down hair, just like twisted Nazi hero. Well, there's a picture of him there. Anyway, a leading member of the neo-Nazi group operating in Scotland has been forging new loyalties with an English activist who styles himself as Adolf Hitler. In one picture, Caden Adam, a member of the far-right outfit Highland Division, is shown meeting Alec Ueberry, a Hitler lookalike who was once part of fascist BNP spin-off Patriotic Alternative. Campaign groups have since slammed the meeting as repulsive and concerning. Adam's seen shaking hands with the trenchcoat wearing Ueberry, who also sports a cut moustache and waxed hair, just like Nazi heroes say. Yeah. Anyway, this is the people who are about to hold that.
How they look is relatively unimportant. It's how they think that you've got to get your head around, right? These are neo-Nazis. These are real neo-Nazis. I know we call the Tory politicians Nazis and all the rest of it, right? Incorrect. They are just fascist thinking, right? Whereas neo-Nazis were something different, you know. So, and these guys want to keep what was going on in Germany during the Second World War going here because they agree with it.
It's the way that this is worded: Scottish nationalist, Scottish patriot.
Yeah, well, no, but the thing is, it's like we look at the nationalism in Scotland. It's a civic nationalism. It's an inclusive thing. It's where we look to welcome people from other parts of the world that do us the compliment of coming and living in our country, right? Whereas these people don't want that.
We even call the first generation of people arriving here new Scots. By the time they get to second generation, they're just Scots.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, simple as that. We have a civic nationalist movement, but these people are dangerous.
Yeah, they are dangerous.
And they're trying to hide behind the guise of Scottish nationalism. And you can bet your boots that the papers here in Scotland will pick it up and try and put it on the Yes movement.
Yeah. Please, guys, don't any of you go to that thing thinking you're gonna ask a few awkward questions. You're not. You're just going to be included in the crowd. Oh, we had 2,000 people agreed with us by coming. It doesn't matter if like 1,999 of those people were against them. They still count you as for them, and that's how it's made to look in the mainstream media.
What's interesting about where they've chosen to hold this event, David?
Yes.
In Morayshire, conservative place, with a lot of military personnel.
Yeah.
So, and the language, the language in that poster we just put up was horrific. And they protest against migrant hotels. Apparently there are 50 people in a hotel in the Elgin area.
If there was any part of Scotland that was going to get annexed, right? Where would you think was likely?
The northeast.
Yeah, dead right.
So, but what people in the northeast have got to get wrapped through their heads, and the people on the islands who have talked about a referendums on staying with the UK and leaving Scotland. Go ahead, you get 10-mile exclusion zone, 12-mile exclusion zone around your island.
Yeah. And
if they want to annex Aberdeen, fine. People of Aberdeen and Moray, guess what? You get 10, 12 miles off the coast. The continental shelf that is Scotland, that is Scottish, belongs with Scotland. No the islands.
Yeah.
No any annexed territory with us, which means the oil and gas fields will still be in the control of the Scottish people.
Yeah.
Anybody that thinks otherwise is pretty badly informed.
Yeah.
Right, so that's it. Neo-Nazis to hold a rally in Douglas Ross's constituency. What does that tell you?
Well, I know what I'd like to say.
I didn't know that, Reggie. It didn't come to my attention that there's another group called the Homeland who regularly protest in Erskine against refugees and with the hotel. I didn't know that, mate. I really didn't, but the police need to calm down on this stuff.
Yeah.
The right to protest is fine, but and it's a basic democratic right. But generally, there's a lot of trouble goes with these things, so they should be policed really well.
Yeah, you know? But please just do not turn up you will get used as one of their number. Simple as that. Doesn't matter whether you're shouting or kicking off, a photograph won't show that if you're in a crowd.
Sarah and I attended went to a protest against fascists in Iowa.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere was absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
Sarah was petrified.
Yeah.
But the hatred coming down the hill towards us for these fascists at the top. Police weren't along with them, but rounded them up, put them back in the train to Glasgow. But I think they come up for England, that mob. Right, let's move on to number 9. Totally, this one's a cracker, David. Totally irrelevant Liberal Democrat leader stroke spanner here in Scotland, Alex Cole-Hamilton, appears at the Oxford Union Debating Society, where you get the irony of how he's dressed, we'll get to that, to argue that Scotland as a nation should never have existed and should never be allowed to exist again. But here's the irony of it. He's actually in Highland dress. He's in a kilt, arguing that the nation whose national dress is a kilt should never have existed in the first place and should never be allowed to exist again. Now, I need to point a couple of things out to Cole-Hamilton because he's nice but dim. Or dim but dim. Alex, the Scottish nation's been around for 1,000 years. We were here before England was even a concept. But more importantly, Alex, should not be allowed to exist again. Here's a wee correction for you, Alex. It already exists. We still exist. Just because we're in the union doesn't mean we don't exist. Sort of taking up the Gordie Brown line here and the Alistair Jack and the David Mundell line here that Scotland ceased to exist 300 years ago. A wee newsflash for you, Alex. And a wee newsflash for Peter Wales and England. Oh, the Peter of England, really. If Scotland doesn't exist anymore, then neither does England.
That's right.
But to let Mr. Cole-Hamilton know, Scotland exists, Alex Cole-Hamilton. This is Scotland. You serve in the Scottish Parliament. Although there is a petition on right now to get out. You have no right to be there if you don't believe in the nation you're serving.
Correct. Isn't that the greater point? If you serve the people of Scotland in Scotland's legislature, you should not be making remarks like that about the country that you serve. Lib Dem, I've said it once, I'll say it again. You vote Lib Dem, all you're doing is you're voting for whoever they're going to get into bed with after there's a hung parliament.
But anyway, at the end of the debate at the Oxford Debating Society, it was agreed that Scotland should never have existed and must never be allowed to exist again.
Oh, well, they would
say that. Newsflash, Oxford! Scotland's still here! You're supposed to be a centre of education! You even have a fucking geography department! I keep saying it, the education system in the world's failed.
No,
and if I remember right, is Alex Cole-Hamilton no assassin act?
Yeah, yes, but you've got to look at Oxford, certainly Oxbridge, that are entitled twats that would say that anyway, wouldn't they?
But it's not the point. The point is, here's a university saying that agreeing that Scotland should never exist, should never have existed, and should never be allowed to exist again. Newsflash! Where's the geography department?
And history.
The history department. The modern studies department.
And mathematics, because we've got 85% of the natural resources. What are they going to do with that? Right, anyway.
But we did say we're going to end on comedy gold. We're getting there, but that's it. Comedy gold. We have a university.
Aye.
Debating Society agree that Scotland should never be allowed to exist again when it actually exists right now. Wow.
No, David, I'm going to look up the diary for one of the Oxford University Debating Society. I'm going to send you down there with a blooming train ticket. I'll get you a train ticket. You go down there for the night, and I'll tell you what.
Because if that's the level of their intelligence, debating them should be, well, it should be like debating a 4-year-old or something like that, shouldn't it? It should never be allowed to exist again. Hello, Oxford! You want an atlas? You want a map? Jesus Christ.
Oh, God, please, I want to get to the next one.
Next one's a cracker, Manhattan
car chase.
I'm going to leave this one to you, David. Manhattan car chase, that's a pure comedy gold.
Well, we've got, you can imagine that Prince Harry is obviously, a large part of his mind is devoted to what happened to his mother, and quite rightly so, right? Our car was chased by the paparazzi and down that French tunnel, and ended up causing an accident that killed her. Now, okay, there are many conspiracy theories as to why that happened and all the rest of it. Let's stay away from that. Let's just look at the action, right? Paparazzi chasing car crashes. Now, seemingly, Meghan was invited to an award ceremony to give her an award, and after the award ceremony, which Harry attended, they left the place, and on the way to a friend's house that we're supposed to be going to for drinks and canapes or whatever, they started getting chased by the paparazzi. And the way it's been described was that it was a car chase through Manhattan, and it could have caused death and destruction, right? Well, in actual fact, travelling through Manhattan, I've been told quite definitely, it would have taken you, they said that the car chase took 2 hours. It would have taken you 8 hours just to do the length of 8th Avenue down Manhattan, because there's that many vehicles, right? In fact, a bloke on a zooped up Zimmer frame with a Polaroid blooming instant camera could have done the job of the paparazzi. Dead easy.
What was interesting was the interview with the taxi driver for the taxi we're in. He said none of this happened.
That's right. And what he said was, he said that the paparazzi had their cameras out. They were walking, by the way. They were keeping up with the car. They were taking photographs, and Prince Harry was taking pictures from inside the car, the taxi, whatever he was in, out the way, right? So I can imagine that it angered him a little bit. However, to put out a story like that means that he's lost all his credibility.
Well, he's definitely firing a shot across the bow, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right, let's move on, because that was funny enough when the taxi driver came in and said, hey, I was the driver, and that happened. For me, that's funny.
Yeah.
Right, Rishi Sunak stated he is backtracking on Bojo's promise to cut back on asylum seekers.
Yeah.
So I take it he's having a go at Cruella Braverman here after her statement.
No, it wasn't. It was the manifesto pledge that Boris made, that he would get the asylum seeker numbers down from 200,000, right? And what Rishi Sunak has done is he's backed away from that, right?
Yeah, but I thought that might have been in response to Braverman's pitch for number 10.
It is in effect, yes, but that's the larger part of the story if you actually look it up where it's been written about, okay? But the really funny thing is the backlash, the knee-jerk reaction from the Gammon news broadcasters, which we talked about earlier, where they ran an undercover reporter to catch 3 little bastards out there washing somebody's fucking car. You couldn't make it up.
Listen, see, when it comes to stuff you couldn't make up, and it comes to Gammon TV, did you see Anne Widdecombe this week?
No, go and tell me. Oh,
she's on Gammon TV and they're debating Brexit, right?
She's trying to give Farage a cuddle, isn't she? She's trying to give Farage a cuddle. Poor Farage. Yeah.
No, but Farage admits it. Farage now admits that Brexit was a disaster. But no, I mean, anyway, she's on to defend it, right? And a wee woman saying, but look at the cost of living crisis. It's not going to be Brexit. There's people can't afford a cheese sandwich anywhere. So Anne Whitcomb says, well, you know the answer to that is, don't make a cheese sandwich. The woman's trying to explain to her, these are staples. If people can't afford staples, we're in trouble. And it's Brexit's fault. And Anne's like, nah, just don't make a cheese sandwich. So we talk about comedy. Oh, mental. So Sunak's backtracking on the alone the amount of asylum seekers. Right, also this week, another bit of comedy gold as we run towards the end of this show. Jeremy Hunt says Brexit nothing to do with UK economic problems.
And this is officially, and we've counted them, this is lie number 2,364,212 from Mr. Hunt, right? That's he does tell one or two porkies. Sorry about the
that's exactly what he was saying. If you can't afford to eat, don't eat. But I mean, Jeremy, where do you start with this? This guy was against Brexit. He made the arguments that it'd be an economic disaster. Now he's the Chancellor trying to tell us Brexit's no an economic disaster. Where do you start with this?
You don't. You can't. You accept that everything that comes out of his mouth is a bloody lie.
Everything comes out all of them is a lie. But talk about lying with impunity, right? Talk about lying with impunity. We're going to end. We're getting out of time here, but we're going to end a couple of bits of comedy gold, right? So we'll start with Oliver Dowden. I don't know how these people can do it, but they're lying with impunity in Parliament. So let's have a quick look at Oliver Dowden's reply to the SNP deputy leader at Westminster. At Prime Minister's questions yesterday, with deputy leaders yesterday, right? So let's stick this bugger up because this one's quite funny. I mean, it's going to be seen to be believed, you know. So here we go. Sit back and enjoy this one, folks.
May I extend my deepest sympathies on behalf of these benches and the Conservative Party to Councillor Gillian Lemon's family. We all know how incredibly hard local councillors work, and she was a strong representative of South Derbyshire. And like my honourable friend, I do hope that the people of Hilton Ward will reflect on this by voting for Conservative candidates at the forthcoming election.
We now come to the Deputy Leader of the SNP, Murray Black.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In 2016, the Deputy Prime Minister told his constituents in a blog that it was his duty to, and I quote, furnish them with all the facts that are available with regards to Brexit. Today, Brexit Britain faces higher food prices, a lack of workers, a shrinking economy and a decline in living standards. Why is he happy to ignore those facts?
The Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, we have one of the fastest growth rates in the whole of the G7 since Brexit. And we all know, and in fairness, we all know the policy of the SNP. And they said it this weekend, and I quote, we need to undo Brexit. But let me tell you...
Right, I'm going to stop it there, David, because that's all that's really worth seeing there, you know. He then goes on to talk about the priorities of the Scottish people. And as you know, if I get to the point where I hear him talking about priorities of Scottish people, I'm going to blow up my nut and say, what does he know about the priorities of the Scottish people?
Yeah.
You know, so, but talk about live impunity. I mean, we've got OECD figures telling us we're doing worse than Russia, and they've been sanctioned. We've got the G20, we've got the worst growth in the G20, we've got the worst growth in the G7, and here's a Deputy Prime Minister piping a lie out for Boris Johnson's move in 2019.
Joseph Goebbels said, if you tell a lie big enough and keep telling it, the people will come to accept it. That's the idea of the Tory lies. Jeremy Hunt, Oliver Dowden, Boris Johnson, Rishi Sunak, they're all doing it. It's bloody lies. It's big lies. And the people eventually are getting to the point, oh, that must be right, that must be true. Question absolutely Everything.
That's the bit I'm hoping people are getting to actually, but it's gone the other way generally. What's happening right now is that people are looking at it more and more and going like, these people are lying. They're lying, they're lying, they're lying. We're getting commentators telling us they're lying. The reason they're doing it and they can get away with it is because all they have to do is after they've made that told their lies in the house, the chamber, where it goes out to the public televised, the speaker pulls them to one side and says, you need to correct the record. I'll get round to it. And then they'll go back and they'll put a wee correct the record and hands up. And that's them, they get away with it. Until they face legal consequences for their actions in that place. Then
isn't it a bit like, David, isn't it a bit like one of the main national newspapers having printed a front page, centre spread, and several bits about a certain thing that's happened, right? And then they're found to be totally incorrect and lying their faces off, and they're made to print a retraction, and it's that size.
Aye, tiny wee retraction.
Yeah.
Right, so Dowden tells a whopper. Everybody in the opposition benches rolls about laughing.
Yeah.
You get cheers of agreement for the Tory benches, even though every one of them that cheering knows it's not true. It's just become par for the course. People just get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, politicians used to resign for misleading Parliament. Now they just do it with impunity. And that's what Boris Johnson created. He created a monster.
Well, politicians in the past at least had a facade of being honourable. Nowadays,
I think that all stopped with Tony Blair, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yes, I think
with the advent of the spin doctor.
Yeah.
You know, but there you go. And of course, David, we're going to end in a real bit of comedy gold because we are over time here, but I want people to get a chance to see this piece of top comedy gold because it's absolutely brilliant. So let's do it. Let's get this up. First things first, take that one down. This is brilliant, folks. Absolutely brilliant. And I see a few of you are talking about it in the comments, so let's play this beauty.
Government making bad decisions on top of a global pandemic, but mind you, we shouldn't be surprised given the fact that they seem to have been pissed half the time at parties in number 10. So as I said, there is an element of truth in that the war in Ukraine, for instance, has also...
I should just say to the Honourable Lady, she really must not use language like that. Please don't. And I hope you will apologise for...
They were inebriated, intoxicated, they were paralytic at parties in number 10. Is that all right?
Quite careful. Mary Black, continue.
I don't see what I said that wasn't true, Madam Deputy Speaker, but I take it. This is a dangerous government.
Yeah, the shame of it is that Mary Black, effectively, just by that one intervention by the Speaker, lost the greater point she was making, which was that the Tory party and the Labour Party, that looks like they're going to follow them, are dangerous.
And
the hooray Henrietta that was Madam Deputy Speaker, effectively by opening the trap like that, spoiled that point.
Aye, but didn't have to the rest of us a laugh, eh?
Yeah.
And I love the bit where she turns on the English accent and says, inebriated. Ripping the piss right out of the speaker. It was comedy gold, David. I nearly fell off my chair when I seen it.
I think all of you should actually see that actual speech by Mary Black. It was tremendous. It made some fantastic points, and it was just a shame that she used the word pished. We used to, when I was in the band, we used to have a competition in the van each night as to who could say the word pished the best. You know what I mean?
Thank you, David, when you're a kid, when you're bored. Yeah. Thank Christ for the advent of in-car television. Right, as you know, folks, I start working 52 minutes, so it's time to round this one up. I'll let you round this one up, David.
All right, okay. Look, if you enjoyed us, we are the Two Davies, him and I, right? Okay. If you didn't like us, in actual fact, we're the Jacob Rees-Mogg fan club. But so if you did like us, then please hit the like button, and please, if you haven't subscribed before, please subscribe to the channel. We do need far more subscribers. One other thing, David, on David's site, he sends this broadcast to to Facebook, and he needs about 5-10 minutes after the actual show to be able to make it free to share it. Otherwise, you'll just get a little box saying that there's nothing to show, right? So that leaves me just one thing to do, and that is bye, Davey.
Bye, Davey. Bye, folks.